But when the enemy can establish a legal right in a sphere of society, he can establish a stronghold there, a beachhead, from which further assaults can be launched, thereby advancing his kingdom. These strongholds are represented by the gates. Biblically, the gates always represent the seat of authority and stronghold for a region or a city. Whoever possessed the gates controlled the territory. It should come as no surprise the enemy is looking for a reset, because he will do all he can to undermine, hinder, and frustrate the plan and purpose of God. But let me be clear. When talking of changing times and laws, this will not extend to his final demise or the coming of the day of the Lord. Oh no. That day has been fixed by the Father, and even during the great tribulation, when Satan's kingdom shall be at its fiercest and most virulent, even then, the number of those days will be cut short. Matthew 24, verse 22. Cut short here meaning to amputate or to curtail. Satan's kingdom will be cut short. Hallelujah. Ultimately, he will try to wreak as much devastation as he can within the time assigned. In this sense, changing times and laws pertains to what he is able to do during the time he has remaining. This is the reset we hear about, changing the times and laws in the courts of heaven so his dark agenda can be enforced. Since the gates are the beachhead for further advance, they form a central part of the spiritual battle taking place over the nations right now. Whilst the gates can be defended, the enemy can remain in power. Hence, for the enemy to sustain control in a region or a territory or nation, these gates must not be taken. Now, here's the question to ask. Is there anyone who is able to do that, to take the gates of the enemy? Is there anyone who is able to dispossess the enemy from the gate? Well, here's what Genesis 24, verses 58 to 60 says. They called Rebekah and said to her, "Will you go with this man?" And she said, "I will go." So they sent away Rebekah, their sister, and her nurse, and Abraham's servant and his men. And they blessed Rebekah and said to her, "O our sister, may you become the mother of thousands, of 10,000s, and may your descendants possess the gates of those who hate them." I love this passage. I've taught this favorite passage of mine many times over the years, how Rebekah represents the bride. And I normally finish the message with her response where she says, "Yes, I will go." This demonstrates her acceptance of the wedding proposal that was brought to her by Eliezer when he was sent by Abraham on the commission to find a bride for his son Isaac. But the story doesn't end there. Because if we continue reading, we find on the basis of her betrothal, Rebekah receives a blessing for her descendants to possess the gates of those who hate them. Now, here's the point I'm making. If we accept Rebekah is a type or foreshadow of the bride, we can see how the blessing she received has been passed down to those who are spiritually identified with her as the bride to possess the gates. The bride poses a great threat, therefore, to Satan's schemes and global reset, and therefore the enemy will try to restrain her.